In the quiet town of Leeton, New South Wales, life was simple. A place where everyone knew each other's names. Where the biggest troubles were a smashed window or a drunken fight after the local football match. But beneath that calm, peaceful surface, no one suspected the darkness that was about to tear through their community. A darkness that wore a familiar face. Her name was Stephanie Scott. Stephanie was 26 years old, young, vibrant, full of hope. An English teacher at Leeton High School. A woman who loved poetry, who inspired her students to dream bigger. A daughter. A sister. A friend. And soon, a wife. In just 6 days, Stephanie was going to marry the love of her life. Leeton, a man she'd known since high school. Their story was one of young love blossoming into forever. Stephanie was thoughtful and kind. She wasn't just planning her wedding, she was planning her students' futures. She'd already prepared lesson plans to leave with her substitute teacher during her honeymoon. She was responsible. Dedicated. Loved by everyone who knew her. The sun rose gently over Leeton on Easter Sunday morning. Stephanie drove her red Mazda 3 to Leeton High School. The halls were quiet and still, empty except for the cleaning staff beginning their daily routine. Stephanie smiled as she passed Vincent Stanford in the corridor, a school cleaner, 25 years old, quiet, distant, a man who no one really noticed. She greeted him with a warm, happy Easter. His eyes were blank, unfocused. Behind that blank stare lay something dark, something broken. Vincent lived alone with his mother. He was a mystery even to those closest to him. Strange. Withdrawn. Silent. But beneath his quiet exterior was a mind twisted by anger and pain. From a young age, Vincent told doctors and psychologists that he wanted to kill. He hated being touched, craving isolation. His job as a cleaner gave him just that, a chance to be alone in the school's empty halls, unseen, unnoticed. No one knew he was watching. No one suspected the evil lurking behind those blank eyes. That morning, Vincent left the school briefly. But he returned, and this time, he came prepared. He carried with him what he later called a rape kit. A chilling, silent promise of what was to come. Stephanie, unaware, continued about her day. She was preparing lesson plans, thinking of her upcoming wedding, excited for the future. But that future would never come. As Stephanie tried to leave the school that Easter Sunday, Vincent grabbed her. He dragged her into a small storeroom. Locked the door behind them. The air grew thick with terror. Stephanie fought with everything she had, screaming, struggling, begging. But Vincent was merciless. He raped her. Beat her brutally. And in the end, stabbed her in the neck. A cold, cruel final act. He told police later it was to make sure she was dead. Stephanie didn't come home that evening. Her family waited, worry growing like a dark cloud. Stephanie wasn't the kind of person to run away. Especially not days before her wedding. They called the police. They searched. But Stephanie was already gone. Vincent didn't stop. He put Stephanie's body in the boot of her car. Drove it to his home and left it there overnight. The next morning, under the cold light of dawn, he drove to Kokopara National Park. There, hidden under branches, he placed her body. He set fire to cover his crime. And then, he took photographs. Photographs that would haunt those who saw them. Proof of a mind utterly twisted, a soul lost to darkness. Vincent told police he went grocery shopping on Easter Sunday. But the store had been closed all day. This lie was the crack that would shatter his story. 4 days later, police arrested him. They found Stephanie's engagement ring and graduation ring. Pawned by his own twin brother. Stephanie was supposed to be walking down the aisle that day. Instead, her fiancé was in a police station, broken and desperate for answers. Vincent confessed everything. But he showed no remorse. He said he had wanted to kill since childhood. That he felt no guilt. That killing was just the way he was arranged. The judge called him a continuing danger to society. He was sentenced to 15 years for aggravated sexual assault. And life without parole for murder. His twin brother, who helped pawn the rings, served 15 months in prison. Vincent's days are now spent in isolation, humming the MacGyver theme song, a haunting echo of a shattered mind. April 11, 2015, the day Stephanie should have been wearing white, walking down the aisle. Instead, her family buried her memories. Her fiancé lost his love. Her students lost their teacher. And the town of Leeton lost its innocence. Stephanie's family fought back, demanding safer schools and stricter background checks. Her mother said simply, "We will remember our daughter and forget all about him." Every year, on Stephanie's birthday, they gather to celebrate her life. With tea and mint slice biscuits, honoring the bubbly young woman stolen too soon. Evil doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes, it walks the halls of schools. Sometimes, it smiles politely and says, "Happy Easter." Stephanie's story is a haunting reminder that darkness hides in plain sight. But her courage and light remain, a beacon for justice and change. If Stephanie's story touched you, moved you, made you think, please like this video. Subscribe for more true crime stories that matter. Together, we keep their voices alive. Together, we shine light into the darkest places. Never forget Stephanie Scott. And never stop fighting for justice. Vincent Stanford wasn't just a stranger to Leeton. He was a mystery, wrapped in silence. Living with his mother in a quiet house, Vincent rarely spoke about his past, or his thoughts. But beneath his calm exterior lurked something dark. Psychologists later uncovered disturbing details from his childhood. Vincent said he had wanted to kill since he was just 7 or 8 years old. He described a deep hatred of being touched, an overwhelming need for isolation. He enjoyed the loneliness that cleaning the school provided, a chance to slip unseen through empty halls. Yet, no one saw the warning signs. No one realized the quiet man was watching. On the morning of Stephanie's disappearance, Vincent carried with him a chilling secret. A rape kit, items he had gathered to carry out his dark intentions. He planned every detail, waiting for the right moment. Stephanie was just a target in his twisted game. When he saw her smile that morning, wished him happy Easter, he knew the time had come. This was no random act. This was premeditated evil. The storeroom where the attack happened is small, cramped, and silent. A place where Stephanie's screams echoed off cold walls, unheard by anyone. Her struggle was fierce, but Vincent's strength was brutal. She fought for her life, but he had planned for this moment. After the attack, Vincent left her lifeless body there, locking the door behind him. The horror of that room remains, a silent witness to a crime no one should ever forget. Stephanie's family's world shattered when she didn't come home. Panic quickly turned to fear. She wasn't the kind of woman to disappear without a word, especially not days before her wedding. Her parents and fiancé searched every corner of Leeton. Friends posted messages, hoping for a miracle. But hope slipped away, replaced by dread. Detectives scoured the school and town for clues. Vincent initially cooperated, telling a story that didn't add up. His alibi, grocery shopping, was disproved when the store's closure was confirmed. Pieces began to fall into place. When police found Stephanie's rings, pawned by Vincent's own twin brother, the horror deepened. A web of lies and betrayal surrounded the killer. Leeton, once peaceful, now felt like a town haunted by fear. Parents kept their children close. Teachers whispered behind closed doors. Everyone wondered, how could this happen here? How could a killer hide in their midst, cleaning their schools, walking their streets? Stephanie's death was a wound in the heart of the town. A reminder that evil can hide behind the most ordinary faces. In court, Vincent confessed everything. But there was no remorse in his voice. He claimed killing was just the way he was arranged. He spoke casually of his plans, his childhood urges, his hatred for being touched. The coldness shocked everyone in the courtroom. How could someone so young carry such darkness? The judge called Vincent a continuing danger to society, sentencing him to life without parole for murder. 15 years for aggravated sexual assault. His twin brother, complicit in pawning Stephanie's rings, received 15 months behind bars. Vincent would spend the rest of his days in prison, humming the MacGyver theme song, a haunting soundtrack to a broken mind. Stephanie's family refused to let her death define her life. They fought for change, stricter background checks, safer schools. Her mother, Marilyn, said, "We will remember our daughter and forget all about him." Every year, they honor Stephanie with tea and mint slice biscuits. They remember the bubbly, bright young woman who loved life, stolen too soon. Stephanie's story is more than a crime story. It's a warning. That darkness can lurk where we least expect. In places of learning. In people who seem ordinary. Her story reminds us to watch closely. To listen carefully. To protect those we love. If Stephanie's story touched you, if it made you think about the hidden darkness in our world, please like this video. Subscribe for more true crime stories that matter. Together, we keep their voices alive. Together, we bring light to the darkest places. Never forget Stephanie Scott. And never stop fighting for justice. Vincent's childhood was a dark and lonely place. Born a twin, he shared a bond with his brother Marcus, but something inside Vincent always felt fractured. Family members recalled a boy who was distant, withdrawn, sometimes angry for no reason. His mother tried to protect him, but the pain inside only grew. At school, he was quiet and unnoticed. Teachers saw a troubled child but had no way to reach him. Vincent himself later said that by age 7, he was already obsessed with death. He collected dead animals, often hurting himself in small ways. His mind was a storm, swirling with anger, fear, and violent fantasies. No one imagined that this troubled boy would one day become a cold, calculating killer. Vincent's twin brother, Marcus, was his opposite in many ways. More outgoing, more social. But Marcus's involvement in pawning Stephanie's rings shows how even family can be caught in the shadows of evil. Was he afraid of Vincent? Did he know the horrors his brother was capable of? The court sentenced Marcus to 15 months in prison, a reminder that darkness can touch many lives, not just the victims. Leeton High School, a place where Stephanie inspired her students, now became a site of horror. Teachers and staff struggled to come to terms with how Vincent, a cleaner, could hide such evil behind his unassuming role. Many questioned the hiring process. How did a man with such a violent history slip through the cracks? Stephanie's family pushed for change, stricter background checks, improved safety protocols. Their fight wasn't just for justice, it was for the safety of every child in every school. The tragedy shook Leeton to its core. Parents held their children tighter. Students struggled to focus, haunted by the loss of a beloved teacher. Stephanie wasn't just a victim, she was a symbol of innocence lost. Local memorials sprung up, candles flickered in the night, and whispers of hope battled the dark cloud of fear. This small town would never be the same. Former students shared stories of Stephanie's kindness. How she encouraged them to dream. How she made poetry come alive. For many, she was more than a teacher, she was a mentor, a friend, a guiding light. Her lessons didn't end in the classroom. They lived on in the hearts of those she inspired. The trial was intense. Victims' families, witnesses, and experts took the stand. Psychologists painted a chilling picture of Vincent's fractured mind. Prosecutors detailed every horrific act with grim clarity. Defense attorneys tried to explain the inexplicable. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury's verdict was swift and just. Vincent Stanford would never walk free again. Vincent now lives behind bars, isolated from society. His days are spent in quiet solitude. He hums the MacGyver theme song, a haunting reminder of a life lost to madness. His name is a warning. A reminder that monsters don't always wear scary faces. Stephanie's family refuses to be defined by tragedy. They channel their grief into activism. Demanding safer schools. Pushing for awareness. And keeping Stephanie's memory alive in every way they can. Their courage shines through the darkness, a beacon of hope. Stephanie's story teaches us that vigilance is crucial. That evil can hide in the most ordinary places. That we must listen, watch, and protect those who cannot protect themselves. Her legacy calls for change, not just in Leeton, but everywhere. As we close this story, remember Stephanie Scott, the teacher, the daughter, the bride who never walked down the aisle. Remember the lives touched and the lessons learned. Remember that even in the darkest moments, love and courage can shine brightest. Her story is a call to action. A plea to keep fighting the darkness. Because remembering is the first step toward healing. If Stephanie's story moved you, if it inspired you to stand against darkness, please like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more stories that need to be told. Together, we honor the fallen. Together, we keep their memories alive. Together, we bring light to the shadows.